I mean, it's really incredible stuff. We've heard a lot from the rescuers who had to pull seats off of the people who were trapped inside the train. Some of those cars ending up crashing onto I-5, others precariously dangling from that bridge. Well, these are the first pictures we are seeing from inside the cars, and you get a better feel for just how bad it was inside of this derailment, at least for this car. This is what those rescuers had to move. We're talking about cars that are not standing up, although some were really pretty okay, but others were really totally devastated. We've also just received this photo of the black box from the lead locomotive. In railroad terms, it's an event recorder. This should tell investigators at the NTSB's labs in Washington, D.C. more information on the speed that the NTSB has said was 80 miles per hour. That data from the event recorder from the locomotive at the rear of the train. This will also tell us more about the brakes, about what the engineer was doing or not doing, about signals if they mattered in this case, even if the headlight was on or the horn was being sounded. Now, all of this damaged equipment is being moved to the north section of Fort Lewis known as North Fort. There, the NTSB investigators can go over the damage in much more detail. They will even use lasers to precisely measure dents and gouges and better calculate the kinds of forces that were involved here. So if you think, for example, of the Aurora bridge crash, where we had the duct that slammed in the side of that bus, a lot of that technology was used here. So think of that accident. This is on a much, much larger scale in terms of the amount of evidence that they have to go through. Remember, one of the big things the NTSB has to do is not just say, okay, this is the cause, good night. They say, we need to figure this out so this can never happen again. And
so what we've learned so far has not come from any interviews with the crew. I mean, so far, the crew has still been in the hospital and unable to be interviewed.
So far, one of the things they're going to look at is how the new event recorder that they recovered, I say new, how the front event recorder correlates to the data from the back event recorder. They should be the same up into the point of the derailment where one locomotive went one direction and the other kind of went another.
So Glenn, you've already reported that this train was going 80 into a 30-mile-an-hour curve.
Right.
And the engineers didn't apply the brakes, right?
That is what the National Transportation Safety Board reported to us in a news conference just about 24 hours ago. They said they have no evidence, at least based on that rear data recorder. But that's not where the engineer was. He's in the front. So, but there was nothing to indicate that there was anything slowing down until the emergency air dynamited when the train broke apart.
So what are you working on for us for 6:30?
So we're going to look at training here because the NTSB said this is sort of new territory. Freight trains, peddler freights had gone down this track for years, you know, not very often, serving Fort Lewis, some industries there. Now they have completely recreated a new high-speed rail corridor. NTSB said they had about 2 weeks worth of training on that. Even though we did not have train control here in the sense of that could have put the brakes on, what were the markers that may have been missed? And we talked to a conductor, a former Amtrak conductor, who has some things to say about this tonight.
Okay, looking forward to that.
Yep.
Thank you.